Hi, folks. This is Charles J. for BetUS.com. What does it mean when a team quits on its coach and on each other? And what does that mean in the point spread? We're going to explore that today and talk about a few games that are being played in the National Football League. And I guess we're going to start out with the Dallas Cowboys situation, where the Cowboys, Jerry Jones fired his coach this week. Wade Phillips is gone. Wade was also the defensive coordinator, so Paul Pasqualoni takes over that position. And Jason Garrett, who was the offensive coordinator, is the new interim head coach, and presumably he'll be graded on the basis of what his team does the rest of the season. And then Jones will make a decision as to whether he's going to pursue another head coach for the Cowboys for next season. The Cowboys are getting 11.5 points from the New York Giants at the Meadowlands on Sunday. And this is obviously there's some uncertainty surrounding the Cowboys and how they're going to come out, what kind of attitude they're going to have under Garrett for the first week. And if you've seen tape of Jason Garrett, you know that he is not the Bill Parcells type of taskmaster. So he's not the kind of guy who's going to whip these guys into shape by fear. And when you look at Garrett and Pasqualoni together, these guys are on the staff. I mean, if the Cowboys had quit, they've quit on these two guys as well. Offense has not performed up to its capabilities. Yes, without Tony Romo, for sure, they're not as good as they could be. But under Romo, what did they do? They went 1-5, I believe, under him as a starting quarterback, playing complete games. So really, I'm not quite sure about whether you can bank on a change in attitude on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys in this game. I kind of like the Giants laying the points because I know that in a situation like this, and when you have a John Kitna at quarterback, a guy that can throw for a lot of yards, but also at the same time, someone who can throw some interceptions, there's nothing as demoralizing to a team as turning the ball over, and Kitna does that. And he basically gives the Cowboys every reason to quit with his turnovers, and I expect that that's going to happen somewhere along the way. So the Cowboys, in a small play, I kind of like the Giants laying the points in this game. Look for them to put pressure on a rather immobile John Kitna to force turnovers, and maybe the Cowboys at some point in the second half kind of pack it in for their brand new interim head coach. Let's take a look at a couple of other games that I think involve a coaching dynamic that is kind of shaky right now. One of them is Cincinnati visiting Indianapolis to play the Colts. The Colts at BetUS.com are 7-point favorite. And obviously there's a lot of speculation now with the Cincinnati Bengals out of the playoff picture about the future of Marvin Lewis. This team made the playoffs last year. They swept through their AFC North opposition, won all the games in the division. Obviously, it's been a different story this season for the Bengals, who have kind of regressed to where they were before they had their resurgence or revival last year. And now perhaps people are running out of patience with Marvin Lewis. Now, we know this is a team that has it in them to quit, because if you watch the regular season finale against the New York Jets, this team just completely laid down and rolled over and let the Jets get into the playoffs, and subsequently lost that opening playoff game to the Jets. With Cincinnati, I think that if you watch them in the Monday night game against Pittsburgh, you saw a team that may have been throwing its last effort out there, its last gasp, its last hurrah, if you will, making that comeback, almost winning, but coming up short. And I'm just wondering whether they're not saying to themselves collectively, hey, that was our effort. That was the game we had to win. We came up short. Marvin may be gone. Then you have the sort of me-first guys in the locker room, Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco. I don't know if that makes for a great mix. Coming back here on a short week, having to play Indianapolis, a team that's always going to be focused if they've got Peyton Manning under center. And they're in a battle for their division title right now. They've got injured players. There is a sense of urgency. Now they've got to plug in some people because they're going to be missing Austin Collie and Joseph Adai, and they're already missing Dallas Clark. So I'm looking for the Colts to rise to the occasion in this one and laying the points with Indianapolis. A third game that involves a strange coaching dynamic involves the Carolina Panthers, who are getting 7 points at Tampa against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. John Fox is not going to have his contract extended, it looks like, beyond this season. So it looks like Carolina is going to be searching for another head coach. This is a team that did not have a lot of offense as it was. They scored 8 touchdowns in 8 games. They've lost Matt Moore for the season, their veteran quarterback, if you want to call him a veteran. He had very few starts under his belt. And it looks like they're going to be missing both of their top running backs, the guys who gained over 1,100 yards for them last season, Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. So they'll be going with the third-team running backs at best and Jimmy Clausen, the rookie quarterback out of Notre Dame. This is not a healthy situation. Carolina is out of the playoff picture. And this is the kind of team that will go into a game like this without a game plan. Now, I know Tampa Bay has dropped, I think, 13 of their last 15 against the spread at home. But maybe this is the week for them to have a decisive victory, as things have really fallen apart in Carolina. And you may look at Carolina as a team that could give up on its coach as well, because he's not going to be around any longer. And it's just very unusual when you're only really halfway through a season for this to happen. Usually this happens over the last 3 or 4 games of a season. But we have several teams around the NFL that have pretty good reasons, at least that might be the way that they rationalize it, for packing it in. And when that happens, how high is too high to set a point spread? A team gives up, the floodgates open, and could lose by, take a look at what Dallas did last week against Green Bay. They looked competitive in the first few minutes of the game. Then when some adversity started to happen, then it was just, the momentum of all that was just too much to overcome, and they lost by a wide margin to Green Bay. So we're looking at maybe some value from the Giants, the Colts, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, as we take advantage of teams that may have quit on their coach. This is Charles J. for BetUS.com. Best of luck to you this Sunday.